Okay, so my 64, which was a Commodore 64C, has been lost. I've got no idea where it's gone. These two machines I bought maybe 20-25 years ago from boot sales, and I've got absolutely no idea what sort of condition they're in. I couldn't find the power supply, so I've ordered power supply, which is in that black bag there. I've managed to find a data cassette, which is okay. I think it's probably from a VIC-20, that one, but it'll work. And I've got my joystick. So, what sort of state are these going to be in? Will I be able to perhaps make one good one out of two? Let's have a look. Commodore 64 1 doesn't look very promising. When I took the lid off, I've already discovered that the keyboard was detached. The fuse is missing, and I'm guessing the voltage regulators are not bolted down correctly. At least I'm supposed to assume they're supposed to be bolted down. So it looks like this has got issues straight off the top. What's under here? I wonder. Good, is it? Underneath here, the chip was sitting there on its back. So I'm going to have to assume that that chip's a dud and it's been robbed out of this machine. The good one's probably been robbed out of this machine and the bad one's been put back. I can't imagine why that would be taken out and just left loose where it is. So this one's not looking good at the moment. The case as well, at some point, has had a whole load of holes drilled into it, and what maybe was a switch. And if we look on the top, we can see there's just been crudely covered with a bit of metal tape. So it's obviously had a bit of a life, this machine. Alright, let's have a look at machine number 2. On first viewing, machine number 2 looks more promising, because we've got the keyboard's actually still attached, the LED light's still attached, and all the chips appear to be accounted for. What's slightly interesting is that we have this ribbon cable which seems to be connected across the user port. I'm going to guess that this connected to something on top of the case, and I'm going to actually suggest that those holes had something to do with whatever this attached to, but that of course is in the other case. So I think this motherboard has been taken out of the other case at some point. So this at the very least looks like somewhere to start. So I'm just going to now power it up and see if at the very least the power light comes on. Inside a box. This has come from Poland. So will it have a UK plug on it? Yes, it does. Oh, that's good news. There we go. Commodore 64 powersupply.com. Thank you for your purchase. Okay. Warning, risk of electrical shock. Right, that seems all okay. And here is the beastie itself. Yes, okay. Apparently the Commodore 64 uses a 9 volts AC and a 5 volts DC regulated. So basically when they build these things new, this is new, they just use a good quality 5 volt regulator supply, and then it's just a 9 volt transformer slammed in there as well. And of course it's wired to the correct Commodore plug, with a bit of luck. Right, let's plug her in. Plug the power supply in, let's switch it on. Oh yes, there is a red light on the 64. There she is. Right, so anything bad happening in here? None of the capacitors have gone bang yet. I'm sure they will at some point, but not yet. Alright, I suppose the next thing to do is to see if I've got a picture. Okay, because digital tuners can be a pig to tune things in, I'm going to use this old black and white television. I should point out that I don't have the video cable for this computer, so it's just relying on the RF. So there we are. Right, power it back up again. Bloody hell. Out of memory error in 0. Well, there we go. Looks like we've got faulty memory. Judging by the fact that I've got a couple of random characters. Hang on, let's see if we can alter the brightness and contrast on this a little bit. Make it a little bit more readable. There we go, I've got a random character here, this here, and this here. Because the thing I remember is that this display is actually looking at memory cells. Right, so if I switch it off, switch it back on again. Right, is that the same characters? Let me just do it one more time. Yeah, it's coming up with the same 3 characters. Now, keyboard's working. If I was to type in list, nothing there. If I was to type in new, I can't remember if new is a command. It's been that long since I used one of these. I can't remember what the commands are. Free memory minus 557. Okay, so let's switch that off. So let's assume that the video chip's okay. Let's assume that the processor's okay. And therefore let's work on the theory that it is the memory. And I'm assuming it's these small chips in the corner that's got something to do with the memory. But how am I going to find out which memory is good and which memory is bad? What if it's time to power up the other one? Number 1. I've plugged the keyboard back in. I've put the chip, which I assume is duff and that was lying in the bottom. Is the circuit board loose? And the circuit board's loose as well. Put that there. Plugged the LED light back in, and I've swapped the fuse out the other machine. Now I'm going to guess, well, this could just go off with a big bang, but here it goes. Well, the fuse didn't go off with a bang. That's a good sign. But the light has not come on. Let's try the other switch position. No. So I'm not getting power. Okay, so I've established now that machine number 2 is definitely dead. I put the chip back in and tried to power it up, and it's not even putting the red LED light on. So at the very least there's a power supply fault with that one. Maybe the memory chips are good, maybe. The data cassette appears to be working, but obviously I can't load anything up at the moment because the 64 is very definitely dead. I like the fact the keyboard still works. Yeah, that's working just fine. I wonder if it'll run a small program. Let me just see for a second. Tried to write a program, and I wrote the line 10 for t equals 1 to 100y. Press return. The computer's locked up, and now nothing is doing anything on the screen at all. There's no cursor, nothing like that. If I switch it off and then switch it back on again, there we go. Out of memory error, and I've got these 3 characters. I guess I could find out which part of the memory that video is mapped to, but that's not going to tell me the whole story, because it'd be nicer if I had some means of checking all of the memory. Need to do some investigation. Okay, the underneath of the half working circuit board looks to be okay. Can't see anything that's been damaged or repaired in the past or anything like that. Possible exception of this here. Have they been? Yes, they have, haven't they? That's some repair work done there in the past. Well, it's worth double checking. None of these joints have gone bad. Okay. Anything else while I'm in here? These have been worked on at some point, I think. And as we can see, someone's whatever this cable was for, it was across the user port. There are your 8 data lines there, and then there's an extra wire which goes to the side, which I'm guessing is the earth. So some sort of electronics hack at some point. Alright, so I need to get a magnifying glass on and have a look at that, connect those two chip sockets, don't I? The solder work that's been done relates to these two chips here, which, as you can see, have now been socketed. So I'm guessing that at some point these chips have failed. Someone's put some new chips in, but they've taken the opportunity to put them in sockets. Now this chip here is also in a socket. Can't quite make it what that number is, 6201. But that looks like it was always that. It makes sense if that was the BIOS chip. Makes sense if this was like the keyboard controller and the user port controller. Like I said, there's probably memory down here. These are probably going to be the processor, aren't they? Well, they together, something like that. Anyway, I'm going to guess that's the ROM chip, and I'm going to guess this is the video chip. Obviously, power supply. I'm going to guess that's the 5V. Don't know. Could that be the 9V line? If I could see the numbers on that chip. No, it's a TO5, so that's a 5V line. Okay. All the capacitors still look good. None of them are bulging yet or anything else. Right, definitely do some more investigating, don't I? Okay, back to board number 1. I found out why we haven't got the power light. This switch here, which is the power switch, switches both the 5 and 9V circuits, and this side's just not making contact. It's open circuit. So I'm going to bridge that out with a bit of wire and see what happens. Just a dry joint on the power switch. So here we go. I'm going to turn it on and see what happens. And have a red light. Oh, and we have something on the telly. Where do we have a picture? We bloody do, you know. That's Commodore 64. The memory is right. The video seems to be working. Right, I don't have a keyboard connected at the moment. Let's connect the keyboard up. Okay, I've screwed it all back together and it's still working. Don't get too over concerned about the fact the screen's in black and white. It's because it's a black and white television. Right, so is the cassette drive working with this computer? No. Is it just a bad connection? No. Let's have a look. Right, I fiddled around with the connection and it's working now. I think think I might have to give it a proper clean up. Right, so if I put this tape in, Eyeball by Firebird Software. Okay, type in load, press play on tape, What now happens? Dismantled the plug, and it looks like it's working now. It just came up with the file found screen. I'm going to assume that some sort of loading screen will appear in a second. I can't remember right now exactly how long it takes for the loading screen to appear. Oh, here we go. Searching, loading. Oh, rewind to 01. Okay. Try again. Loading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have a loading screen. Eyeball, Firebird, 1987. Obviously that would look a lot more impressive in colour, but like I say, we don't have colour. So it's still loading up. About such things, this is a perfectly functional, working black and white Sony television dating from around about 1982. Unfortunately though, it's an analog tuner and everything's digital at the moment, and because it doesn't have a video input on the back, it's a little bit awkward to get a digital set-top box to make it work. This is working. Happy days.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Game over! Eyeball! Eyeball!
Well, it works. I will now get a video cable so I can hook up to a colour TV monitor and give it a good old test, I suppose. Commodore 64.